Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a kingdom so powerful that it never needed soldiers. No war chants, no battle formations, no conquered territories. And yet, for nearly 1,000 years, people listened when it spoke. Now, imagine growing up and never being taught that it existed. Imagine an empire erased, not because it failed, but because it did not fit the colonial definition of power. This was not Rome. This was not Britain. This was not an empire built on steel. This was ours. In the forests of southeastern Nigeria, a sacred kingdom rose, one that ruled through ritual, morality, and belief. And today, most of the world has never heard its name. Welcome to the story of the Igbo Kingdom of Nri. This is Motherland Origins. Before we begin, I want you to think about something. What if everything you were told about African power was incomplete? What if one of the longest lasting political systems in West Africa had no army, no expansion wars, and still shaped an entire civilization? Stay with me for the next 5 minutes. I'm going to show you how the Igbo Kingdom of Nri ruled for centuries without soldiers, because this story changes the narrative. Long before colonial maps labeled the region Nigeria, long before European traders reached the coast, there was Igbo-Ukwu. In the 20th century, archaeologists uncovered something astonishing: intricate bronze works, delicate ceremonial vessels, glass beads from long-distance trade networks, dating back to the 9th century. This wasn't a scattered society. This was structured, advanced, spiritually complex. And from this cultural foundation, Nri emerged. Why were we taught that centralized kingdoms defined civilization, when here was a system that centralized morality instead? Let's go deeper. Every great civilization carries a sacred origin. For Nri, it begins with Eri, a semi-divine ancestor in Igbo cosmology. According to tradition, Eri descended from the sky at the command of Chukwu. His lineage settled in Anambra River Basin. From that lineage emerged Nri, founder of the kingdom around the 10th century. The ruler was called the Eze Nri, but understand this clearly: he was not a conqueror. He was a priest king. His authority came from ritual purity. Communities invited Nri emissaries not because they were afraid, but because they believed. Imagine a political system where legitimacy is spiritual, not military, where power flows from belief, not force. This wasn't weakness. This was a different philosophy of power. Nri emissaries traveled across Igbo land carrying sacred symbols. They cleansed taboos, settled disputes, restored social harmony. Communities voluntarily recognized Nri's authority. Scholars describe this as ritual hegemony. Within its influence, the enslavement of fellow Igbo was prohibited. No conquest armies, no territorial occupation, just spiritual diplomacy. Let me ask you something. If a system lasts nearly 800 years without an army, was that accidental, or was it deeply intentional? Nri society revolved around Chukwu, supreme creator, Allah, earth goddess and moral authority, ancestors, guardians of balance. Crime disrupted cosmic harmony, markets followed sacred calendars, and titles structured governance. Unlike the centralized structures of the Benin Kingdom or the Oyo Empire, Nri operated as a decentralized spiritual network. It influenced identity, ritual, and legitimacy across Igbo land for centuries. While Europe fought medieval wars, while empires rose through conquest, Nri was refining a governance system based on ritual diplomacy. African political ideology was not just one thought process, it was many. By the 18th and 19th centuries, the Atlantic slave trade altered regional power structures. Militarized systems grew. Colonial expansion followed. In 1911, British forces attacked Nri. A kingdom without an army could not resist imperial warfare. Political authority was dismantled, but identity survived. Here's the deeper truth. Colonial rule lasted decades. Nri's system lasted centuries. Which one truly shaped the soul of the people? The Kingdom of Nri challenges how we define power. It proves that governance can be rooted in morality, ritual authority, collective belief, not only violence. And this is why Motherland Origins exists, to restore the depth, to restore the dignity, to restore the memory. If this story moved you, subscribe. If you learned something new, like this video. If you believe African history deserves global recognition, share it. And tell us below in the comments, which untold civilization should we uncover next? Until next time, remember who you are. Remember where you come from. This is Motherland Origins.